Absolutely. Joe, brother, so welcome to the roller coaster, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
I'm just gonna, well, this is a free flow conversation. We're gonna talk a little bit about upbringing, your life into music, general topics about life in general, and things that, I'm curious about.
Yeah.
So without further ado, if you could just tell us, the listeners, where did you grow up, and well, when did you first get in contact with a drum kit and started playing the drums?
Well, it all started really when I was 4 years old, um, and I went to watch Maiden at Donington Monsters of Rock, 1992, and just randomly, Nico's drum tech. Um, I was there, obviously, Steve being my uncle, so I was hanging out around the stage and stuff, and back then, you can't really do it so much these days, but back then you could go and hang out on the stage, kind of thing. There'd be like a place for all the family to watch and stuff. Um, and Nico's drum tech just kind of took me around the back of his kit, and I remember this big curtain opening, and then there he was playing the drums, and then I just watched the whole, well, most of the gig, just from behind his kit, and I was just mesmerized. It's one of my first memories of being there, just sat there watching him, and I was like, that looks so much fun. That just looks so cool. What he's doing with his arms and his legs, and obviously being a 4 year old, his kit is obviously massive anyway. But as a 4 year old, it's just monstrous. Um, and yeah, I just didn't take my eyes off him the whole time. I was like, this is amazing. And then, and I was hooked from that point. I was like, right, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. So I asked my mum and dad for a drum kit immediately, and then got one for Christmas that year. So, and then that was it. I was just hooked and transfixed, and just that was it. That was my path. I was like, right, I'm playing drums. And yeah, just used to just watch Nicko and study him, and then get into other drummers like John Bonham, and just soak it all up. As when you're a kid, your mind's like a sponge, so it was all going in. Nothing else mattered. It was just like, right, I want to play drums.
But you're
Um,
so little when it happened, which I think it's a massive privilege, because a lot of people go through life not knowing what they like or what they want to do, and they just end up in a career, a random career, because they just come out of uni or and have
yeah,
to make a living out of something. And so, in many senses, that's like a huge privilege that we know sometimes people might just take for granted, the fact that you have a passion, that you got this experience that brought this love for music, and in particular the drum kit, playing the drums, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm very lucky to have supportive parents and be like. I remember asking. Actually, I asked my mum not that long ago. I was like, what made you sort of let me get a drum kit at 4 years old? Because it's not back then. There was no electric drum kits. They didn't exist. Um, so it's not a very convenient instrument to be learning on. Obviously, it makes a lot of noise, and I would have made a racket. Um, and I was like, oh, what made you kind of get it and be like, all right, give it a go, kind of thing? And she was like, well, obviously, I'm never going to get to the heights of Steve, but she was like, well, if my brother can make it, then maybe my son can. So we'll give it a go. So, and obviously, I was completely. Some people, they'll get a drum kit or guitar, and then they get distractions, and they're just not. They go through phases and waves of being into it, and then not. But I was just so into it from the get go that nothing else mattered. So, but yeah, I know people I went to school with that would have loved to have played a music instrument, but the parents just either were like, "No, that's not what we want you to do," or couldn't afford it, or it wasn't convenient, space wise, or whatever. Because um, drums, they take up a lot of room. Um, but yeah, I'm just very fortunate that I was given a platform to be like, yeah, just give it a go.
And it's
So
interesting, you said that you're very driven, but you still are all of those years. The drums is your, since I've known you for like many years now,
Mm.
and it has always been the center point for you. I don't recollect uh, yourself being involved on anything other than music and producing music and working behind the drum kit. So that's really incredible, because I was going to ask you, like, going through the school years, like having exams and all of that, because that's a part of life that it's really important for parents. So they will be like, I mean, if you're not doing good in school, we might just, I don't know. Did you have you ever faced any period of your life that your parents would be like that to you in a way?
No, I mean, like, my mum always knew what I wanted to do, and she was very supportive. She was like, she obviously wanted me to do well in school, and I did okay. I mean, I didn't listen as much as I should have done, and I totally blagged the exams because I just wasn't interested in any of that. I knew I wasn't going to go to college or uni or any of that further education. But my mum just knew that. She was like, well, what's the point in making you do something you don't want to do? So I did what I needed to do, which was the bare minimum. um, but all the while, she knew that I wanted to just do drums, and she was very supportive. And like my younger sister Kelly, she's the academic one. She did, like, she got degrees and she did all of that. She's a very intelligent girl. She has all the intelligence. I didn't have any of that, but I was just into the drums, and that was it. I've always been that way. But I'm glad. That's nice of you to point that out. I'm glad that you think that, because it has been my main thing, and it always will be. That's a nice thing. If you think of me, you think of drums. That's a good thing, So that's good.
100%, yeah. But you went to university, Salford, did you? No.
No, I didn't go to
You,
university. I just went to school in well, it's a place called Sawbridgeworth. It's near Harlow.
okay.
So I grew up in Essex. So I went to a secondary school there called Leventhorpe, and then yeah, when I left at 16 after my exams, that was it. I was just obviously working little jobs and stuff. I was joining bands. I joined my first band when I was 15, and
I was going to say,
uh,
where did you meet the guys from Oceansize? When did that happen?
so my old
Because
band, the World
that was the very first band that you've had. Am I right?
Well, no, I wasn't in Oceansize. I supported them, but I play drums for Mike Vennart now, who was the lead singer and
Of
guitar
course.
player
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oceansize.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But my first band, the Worldonfire, we supported Oceansize
World on
once.
Fire. That's the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I supported Oceansize, got friendly with Mike, and then you know how these things go. You kind of you connect with someone, and then he asked me to then play drums on a side project of his, and then I ended up playing for his solo projects and other bits and pieces. And now I'm basically his guy, which is great. Any project he does, he calls me up and gets me involved, which is awesome, because he's a hero of mine. Oceansize are one of my favorite bands ever. So yeah, very fortunate.
I mean,
To, to
you have been involved in so many different projects and playing with so many different people. I mean, you're very skilled, because you can fit so many different. Well, you play mainly rock, and but then you can play metal, and you do all of those videos. That I find really amusing, because I just saw today you posted something about playing. In memory of Taylor Hawkins. So you're playing the Foo Fighters, and you're playing Maiden, and you're playing Oceansize, and then like you can basically navigate so many different areas of rhythms and things like that. And I'm wondering, you self-taught? You have never taken any lessons?
no, completely self-taught. Just like I said, just soaked all it up. All the different types of music. I mean, when I was a kid, all I would listen to is Maiden. And Steve actually told me one day, he was like, "Look, if you want to do this properly, you've got to stop listening to us and listen to other things." And he gave me a stack of things to listen to, which then just changed everything. I started listening to more on different types of music, and obviously being a session drummer, you have to do that. So I'm very grateful for that. But I appreciate what you're saying, man. That means a lot. I appreciate that. But yeah, like I just soak it all up. I love just at the end of the day, drums is an expression, and it's all about a groove. And you can play a groove in, if you can sit there and groove, you can play in different types of genres. It doesn't have to be just one genre, because you could get groove players doing jazz and pop and rock and metal and all the different types of music. So
Hmm. Hmm.
um, I'm interested. I always want to just play as much as I can, different types of. I just want to just do as much as I possibly can. Just
Of
put everything
course.
into it. So
Of course, of course. Do you find obviously playing live is such an important thing for musicians. People do get a lot of pleasure from the experience of being on stage.
mm,
But you are very you high caliber drummer that does a lot of studio work, and in order to do studio work you kind of have to be really good as well, because a lot of times people go unprepared to the studio, and even though nowadays we have technology that can support us, there's a big difference between someone that can really play the drums and somebody that goes there and just like records and then people just fix it afterwards on Pro Tools.
yeah.
Do you yourself find, I mean, is that something that emotionally and physically changes for you in terms of the excitement of being involved on a recording project versus a live project per se?
I think that's a really interesting point, actually, because like some drummers are like one more than the other. Some people like being in the studio more than being out on the road, and vice versa. But I love both elements of it. I love the creation. I love the creativity element of being in the studio and being like, what's going to come out next, and what's going to, I like being under pressure. I like um, kind of not over rehearsing things and not being too, because I find that what comes out of me instinctually is always, most of the time, the best bit. It captures something special. So um I love being in the studio, always have done. And again, just recording with different people. I worked it out the other day. I think I've been on 36 albums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
impressive.
um which I completely, because you forget about different sessions you've done. Some things don't even ever see the light of day,
Hmm.
and obviously some do. Um, but no, I love tapping into that. Like you said, the emotional part of being in the studio is like anything can happen, and I love that feeling.
Hmm.
With live, obviously you get into the momentum of everything's like quite streamlined and stuff, but I like being in the studio where it's like, oh, okay, nothing's down yet, but what's going to come out today, in this
Hmm.
session, what's going to come out? It's exciting to kind of know and to find out like how it ends up, and then getting the finished product and stuff. So yeah, yeah.
Do you get a little bit nervous before like a session or going live?
No, no, not at all. It's weird. It's like I'm quite a in real life, I'm not like a nervous person, but I'm not a confident person at all. Really, when in like real life, but the only time I ever feel quite confident and not nervous is when I'm just behind a drum kit. It's kind of like a safety net for me, like a bar, like a. I think that's why I like being a drummer, because you've got that kit in front of you. You're behind something, so you kind of got that barrier. Um, and So yeah, I don't ever really get like nervous. Obviously, you get the butterflies and stuff, but you feed off of that. That's not like a nervous energy. You use that to your advantage.
Hmm. Hmm. For you to maintain technique and precision and to keep on top of what you want to do at the best of your capacity when it comes to playing the drums, do you follow a particular routine? Do you have anything that you like? I mean, this week I have to go through all of those regiments, or it depends on what's happening on your agenda. Or I have recording sessions this week, so I'm going to focus more on this. I'm going to play a few gigs on the weekend, so I'm going to focus a bit more on stamina, and I'm going to do different exercises in order to get that. How do you um, keep yourself, up and ready to just basically go and smash it?
I mean, to be honest with you, mate, I don't, because I don't know any rudiments. I don't know, because I was never taught. I don't know any kind of. I know very little about actual like the rudiments and drums and stuff. I just know what I can do and whatnot, and always trying to pick up stuff. Um, but yeah, I don't really. It's odd. Like
Hmm.
because I grew up when I got my kit, shortly after I got my drum kit when I was like 4, my mum and dad divorced. So my kit then went to live with my dad, and I only saw my dad once a fortnight. So I never had the luxury of playing drums every day. I never have. I've never been able to just go and play drums every day. I learned songs by tapping on my legs, and then go and translate it onto a drum kit, because that's how I used to do it when I was a kid, and I still do that to this day. When I'm learning songs, I don't sit at a drum kit and learn them. I just listen to it, take it all in, and just sit there with. Because when I was a kid, I was like, well, what have I got? I haven't got a kit, but I've got my hands and I've got my legs, so I'll just do that. But I feel like, I don't know. I'm incredibly lucky. Like I don't know if I want to sound like I'm like, blowing my. I'm not. I'm the last person to ever do that. But I don't. Keeping my chops up and stuff is not something I've ever. I just kind of go in and do it. It's a kind of natural thing. I kind of just go and sit on a kit, and it kind of just happens. And I'm sure one day it will fail me. It will just, I'll have a terrible day or whatever. But yeah, I kind of just, like I said, I feed off of like the energy of like it not being completely 100%. Because no, I mean, obviously I'm always well prepared for any gig I do, because I'm always have to be prepared. I can't go in and just blag it. It's not like that. But I do like leaving a little bit to like, oh, that could go anywhere. You know what I mean? So
You're still human after all, right?
well, yeah, totally. But I don't. I don't. I don't sit there and practice rudiments on a pad, or I don't really warm up for gigs. I like being the first song going in and like dry. I like that feeling. Maybe when I get older, I probably have to start doing when my joints start going or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, no, I just I kind of just au naturel it, really.
That's amazing.
But that's really how amazing. I learned. That's everything was just. That's just how I am as a person, and how I came about to playing drums. I was never, I never had any lessons.
It's real. I mean, I think a lot. People talk about dedication, and which is, I think, really important on anything that you do in life. But also the aspect of like having people use the word talent, and talent is basically having the capacity to do stuff and learn things. On not so favorable conditions, let's put it this way. Not saying that you are not under favorable conditions, but when you didn't have the drum kit in the house all the time to practice, and just like you said now, in order to learn stuff, you just do it with your hands. So you found the way to navigate adversity in order to perform, and then having not the facility, but like I said, the talent to just go and sit on the drum kit, because people are obviously different and have different ways of approaching any instrument, really, and music in general. But I always find it amazing when I talk to musicians like yourself that can do what you do, because I remember clearly when I was still singing myself, I could never like go on stage without warming up. And I know singers that will do that nowadays. They will jump on stage and the voice just comes out of them, and it's just like, what? How on earth? And there's people that will warm up for a couple of hours. So there's all those different elements that I think it's down a lot to how the brain is wired, physiology. How can you explain, right? Why can you just do what you do?
I think everyone has their own ways of doing things, and there's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. It's like I'm a very kind of just laid back guy, and it's like, well, that kind of comes out, because I'm not like, oh, I've got to do this. I just kind of go, well, I have faith and trust in myself that I'll do what's needed, required for the job, and also like I'll always just say yes to everything, and then you'll get to the point. It's like my first. I joined a band called Inheaven years ago. It was my first professional job. It was about 10 years ago now, and I lied and said I could play to a click track. I'd never played to a click track in my life, but I wanted the gig. So you say yes, and then you go, right, well, say yeah, and deal with it later, and deal with it when it comes to it. So because I didn't want, if I said no, I wouldn't have got the gig. So I said yes, and then was like, right, okay, put the in-ears in and press go, and just hope that your tempos are okay, and I
How
got
did
the
that
gig,
go?
which was great.
You got the gig.
I got the gig. Yeah, yeah. So it's like if I'd said no, I wouldn't have got it. So you say yes, and you kind of go, right, okay, I'm just going to work towards that. There's a point here I need to work towards, and that's what I'm going to do. So you just do whatever you can. But like I said, I'm very fortunate. Uh, I'm very fortunate that I get to do this for a living, and I get to play for the people I do, and continue to be asked to play for people. So yeah, I'm very very grateful.
I think it's really really cool what you just said, because I mean a lot of the things that people sometimes don't understand is that you have to take chances in life. You know, you really have to believe in your gut,
Yeah,
but sometimes you just have to deliver something, be that on an email or on a conversation, and just say, listen, I can handle this, I can do the, but because a lot of bureaucracy, that not a lot in music I suppose, but in life there's so much bureaucracy, and when it comes to something so human as music, right? I mean, you're performing an instrument, you're playing an instrument, you're singing, you're playing the drums. It's an expression of you know, Homo sapiens, of this creature that we call ourselves, that you know, that is
exactly. Yeah,
makes us us. And um, a lot of people think that they shouldn't be in a position of having to prove themselves in particular ways when they are asked questions. And I think if you truly believe in yourself, you will put yourself forward for anything, and you're gonna say yes, and you're gonna probably say yes to a lot of things that you might not even be particularly 100% inclined to do, but you know that that's going to be good for you in a way or another. You have that instinct on you, isn't it?
absolutely. It's key. It's key because you just gotta take everything that comes and deal with it. Like I'm doing some shows for a band called Headspace later in the year, which is Adam Wakeman's band. From He's the Black Sabbath and Ozzy's keyboard player, and it's got members of Devin Townsend and other, like it's real pure, like proper prog music. And you're listening to it, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like Darby Todd played drums on it, so he's an unbelievable drummer, and I got offered it, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then you listen to it and stuff, and you're like, wow, this is going to be some serious homework. But you say yes, and you work on it. Like I know I probably won't be able to do a lot of what Darby's doing, but I'll have my own inflection on it, and I'll do what I do, and you just got to have faith and in the knowledge that they asked me for a reason, which is very nice. I'm very grateful for that, and you go and do your gig, and then and most gigs you do will turn into other things, like, or other projects, or you just got to be on people's radars and just be. You want to be the guy that people call, So
Absolutely.
I try, which like I said, I'm lucky enough to have been that guy for a while. So yeah.
In our line of work, you can't just submit your CV, right? You just kind of
No,
goes.
you absolutely, mate. You know that more than anyone because you're out there smashing it, doing so much for so many different bands. It's
Thank you.
admirable. It's inspirational. It's amazing, and that's the same for me. We're in the same industry, but we've got different roles, but we're doing the same. You do the same thing.
Absolutely, you have to be out there, and it's a lot of, you know, like you said, it's how people perceive you, isn't it? We were just
Yeah,
actually having this conversation last night
we were.
about how people, well, what's the word out there about this individual, isn't it? There's a lot to do with your capacity as a professional, but there's a lot to do with your character as well, and what kind of vibe you bring to the room, into the room, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot about energy, and because all it takes is one person slightly not on the same wavelength for which it's difficult to get everyone on the same wavelength. It is very very difficult to get that. You would know that more than anyone. But at the same time, you if things start to go a bit odd, like I just always make sure that there's never any problem. Whoever I'm working with, you're never gonna. I'm not going to cause any trouble. I'm not an annoying drunk or just I'm on time. And it's almost like the best thing you can do is almost make sure that people don't even realize you're there. But they know you're there, but they don't ever have to turn around and be like, oh, it's just like, because everything's just streamlined, and it's like we don't even have to worry about that. I don't even have to talk to mention anything or what. He's there doing his thing. He's not a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
So and obviously making good impressions and things. But that's the thing is, that's not something I've worked at. That's the easy part. The hard bit is being good at what you do and getting the gigs and stuff. But just just not being an arsehole, that's the easy part.
Yeah,
I don't have to
absolutely.
work. I'm not working at that. I'm working at everything else.
Of
But
course, of course.
a lot of people fuck that bit up.
Have you been involved in any projects, like any of your past bands that you worked with, that you toured with, that you're not involved anymore, that you wished it had carried on, that you had like a more lengthy career with? And if that happened, why did you parted ways with them, or why did you why the band ceased to exist? Because I think in Heaven still are they still
No,
going?
they're not. No. We split up in like 2018, I think it was. But the singer and the bass player have got their own project going on now. But that was a great experience for me because it was my first professional thing. We did like American tours and
Wow.
loads of like Glastonbury and Reading and all the proper
Wow.
festivals, and we did all that stuff for about 3 years. Toured everywhere, and it was great, and it was a really good experience because I needed that. I'd never toured America before, and but the band had kind of run its course, and same sort of thing, major label stuff, and then getting dropped, and it's part of the process.
Mhm.
A lot of people have been through that. So, but it gave me massive touring experience, and it gave me connections. I met a lot of people along the way that I still get work from now, and
Mhm.
stuff. So, but really, I mean, I think, to be honest with you, obviously that first band I was in, the Worldonfire, I miss playing with those guys because that was my first proper band. That was my baby back then, and then like we haven't done anything for quite some time now, but we've been chatting about maybe doing something else, just for a laugh, to see what happens. But I miss kind of being a session drummer. It's very rare that you're in a room with a few musicians and you're just bouncing ideas off each other and writing songs together. That I do miss that element, of course.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, that doesn't pay the bills.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you've got to, you know, obviously, if I've got time to do that in my free time, I will still do it because I love that. But I
Mhm.
don't get to do that so much as much as I'd like to. But yeah, unfortunately,
Have to pay
got
the bills. Yeah.
I've got to keep clothes on my back and food in my belly. So
So true. Joe, you drummed for Voodoo Six, didn't you? You
yes,
did
yeah,
drum for Voodoo Six, and
yeah,
were you the drummer which year they toured with Maiden? Was
yes, yeah.
were,
2013 Made in England tour. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So what happened to Voodoo Six? Because there was a lot of momentum that back then with Tony and you behind the drum kit and touring with Maiden, and the
yeah.
band did like headlining shows in Europe as well. But then it kind of like faded away. I mean, I didn't hear about it
Yeah,
anymore.
I mean, obviously, like, so Luke, the singer, had to leave the band for like personal reasons, and we kind of struggle to kind of keep it going, the momentum. You know what it's like. It's like, it's if when things are going, you've got to keep that momentum going, and you've got to make everything count, everything you're doing, and it kind of just, yeah, it kind of crumbled away a little bit, and then we were all busy doing our own thing. Like Matt Pierce started his own solo band, and obviously I joined that band in Heaven as well. So at that time, not long
Hmm.
after, about a year or two after the Maiden tour, so I was away a lot, and Tony was working for Maiden a lot. He was away a lot, and now obviously me and Tony play for Phil Mogg from UFO, so we have that. Um, so it's not dead in the water. It's still there. It's just finding the time to make something happen. And actually, weirdly enough, I went to meet a friend for lunch earlier today, and a Voodoo Six song came on my shuffle, and I was like, oh god, I haven't heard this for quite a while. And I was like, oh, it'd be great to do another gig with the guys, a London show, or just get in a room again. It's just getting everyone together because we're all doing our own things, and it's actually hard to get us all in the same room. It's
Hmm.
difficult, but it's not. We're not like split up or anything. It's
Right.
just on a kind of hiatus until something happens, you
Of
know.
course, of
But
course. Yeah.
we'd all love to do something. It's just logistically it's difficult.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I love playing in that band.
It's hard to like you said, because a lot of being in a, well, I don't want to say Voodoo Six was a newcomer, but in a way like a newish band, starting up and then doing recordings and then getting an album out there and touring and all of that. To keep going, it's very difficult because obviously it's like opening your own business, isn't it? I mean, even though you'd like, people don't really understand the finances behind it, because even though you're touring with Maiden, I mean, after that you go on a smaller tour, you're going to be making less money. But then what happens on the next 5 6 months? You
Exactly.
you will you will have to do something in order to survive, and then life will maybe take you other routes. The next thing you know, it's 6 months, it's 8 months, it's 12 months, and you haven't played with the guys, and the band hasn't done anything. But it's like, how could you just be focused on that when that is not 100% sustainable? Uh, uh, uh,
Exactly. It's the lifelong thing of, like, being in the band and trying to make it work, and everyone having to bring money in to live,
yeah,
and then but trying to set aside time, afford time to it, to keep it going. But sometimes it just, it has to take a back seat,
hmm,
and it has done for some time now. But well, like I said, we'd all love to make something happen again, but it's just difficult. Everyone's got to earn a living, and it's keep, like you say, keeping sustainable. I mean, like that Maiden tour didn't make any money. We broke even, just about. I mean, because it's so expensive to tour. Back then, even how expensive it is to be on the road now. It's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if we were to get something going again, it would be just maybe like, yeah, the odd gig or maybe another album or whatever. But it's interesting to see though, because I've had quite a lot of people message me and say, like, what's happening. Are you still together? I would like to hear some stuff. So people's still
Still
sort
remember,
of,
yeah,
it's still people in, still in people's minds, which
still
is
in people's
nice. It's
minds,
always
yeah,
nice to hear. So, but
definitely.
yeah, they're a great band and great guys.
Do you ever feel like, I think you're very privileged because you're involved in so many different projects, so you get to tour and then you go and do some studio work, and then you go, for instance, you've been working with Mike and Dave Lombardo on the Empire State Bastard band project, whatever you
Yeah,
want to describe that, and then you get to tour with like Mr. Bungle, and you hang with all these guys, and those are connections that are very valuable. and
100%.
and
Yeah,
it only happens because you're very open to, like you said, to saying yes to things. Because a lot of
yeah,
people would say, oh, am I going to be the drummer in a band? Oh, if I'm not the drummer, I'm not interested in having that experience and meeting these people, and going out and working with them on a different capacity. And I think it's so amazing because I've done that myself in many different ways on my life, like always
yeah.
saying yes and always being like, if I don't go out there and don't get paid, but I'm gonna be missing the opportunity, and I think there's a lot of musicians, at least on my experience, people that I worked, that I played music with in the past. People are constantly awaiting on, like, okay, but how much am I gonna make out of this? Am I gonna get paid for this? I'm like, well, it's not exact. Well, but then call me next time. And then I see a lot of people just like not understanding because they're not going anywhere. And then and it's like, you have to really um, find the way, have another gig, have a side job, to pay for the bills for a period. Like you said, very lucky us, well, luck favors, the prepared, I would say, so you worked really hard, and then you get to make a living out of something that you love, but it takes time,
It does.
it takes
It does
time.
take a lot of time,
It's not.
and it's like it's the point you just hit on there about, I'm not like, I'll go out, like I said, when I was asked drum tech for Dave Lombardo, I was like, yeah, like, I mean, I've never set up two kick drums before and a drum kit like that before in my life, but yeah, I'll do it. I was just like, at an hour before he could turn up to the rehearsals, I was like googling photos of him, like being like, I don't play double kick. I never have, or two kick drums. I was like, I don't even know how far apart you have them. I have no idea. Like, so I was googling photos of Dave Lombardo, being like, trying to work out how close he has them. And obviously, he's such a sweetheart. He's so patient with me. Lovely guy. Um, and yeah, of course, like, I'm not. some drummers would be like, "Oh, I'm not a drum tech, I'm a drummer." It's like, well, no, it doesn't work that way. It's like, if you're, I'm not above being a drum tech. If I'm out on tour earning money in any capacity, I'm grateful for that. There's no problem with that at all. And like I say, even working for someone like Dave Lombardo as well is like an amazing thing. And I was
Absolutely.
very grateful to him that he brought me out on that Mr. Bungle tour, and yeah, it was
And
like
you're
great.
constantly learning. You still
Yeah,
working with
yeah,
drums. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
exactly,
not that you're
exactly.
now working, I don't know, in a warehouse or something. you know?
Well, you never stop learning in anything you do. So, and I'm again, my mind's still just like taking it all in, like learning. Like, I love that. I love being taught stuff.
hmm
I
hmm
love that.
That tour
Um,
looked so much fun because I mean I love Mr.
oh, it was
Bungle
great.
and like
But it was just mad. Like, I had a day off in Oslo, and Mike Patton invited me out on a boat trip with
I
him for
saw
the day.
that. Wow.
And I was like, this is madness. How have I ended up here? But
So
such a
cool.
lovely guy, really, really lovely guy, and I had so much fun with those guys. So yeah, but yeah, just this is what I mean. Like, my job is taking me to weird and wonderful places in strange situations with people like that. You'd be like, how the hell have I got to here? But I'm very, like I said, I'm very grateful for it for
Is
sure.
it is it is it like Empire State? Is it like a real band? Do they intend
Yeah,
to keep on recording and touring? Was it just a one off
no, 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 no. They're an active band.
active band?
Obviously, Mike and Simon. Well, Simon's obviously the main guy, and Biffy
Biffy
Clyro.
Clyro.
He, they're when they're on touring schedules. When they're on their touring cycle, it's just Biffy. But then when they're not, Simon and Mike will do the tunes for Empire State Bastard. So it's still a thing for sure. It's just that now they're going into kind of Biffy cycle, so it might be a while before, but they will come back to it for sure.
Hmm
Again, amazing band, great players.
Yeah, the record
Obviously,
is really
Dave.
good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Super
Naomi's an
heavy.
amazing bass player. And obviously Dave's amazing. Tom, who fills in for Dave sometimes, he's also brilliant.
Hmm
And again, they're just lovely people to be on the road with. Really, really nice, and it's just so easy, so
hmm
easy going, which
Very important.
it count very, very important for the mind.
Absolutely. Joe, do you when you're at home, when you're not on the road, like when you're at home, do you follow any particular morning routines? Are you like a night owl? Do you go to bed early? What's your normal schedule?
Uh, I like to I'm I like to sleep. I do love my sleep. I've turned into a bit of a. I used to go to bed relatively early, but I kind of find myself going to bed a bit later and later. But I still like to get up with the natural sunlight. I always have my curtains open. I like to wake up to the sun. I feel like it gets, obviously, I know we don't get that much sun here in this country, but when we do, like, I think it kind of sets me in good stead for the day. Once I don't know, I just feel mentally, and I wake up quicker that way, and I'm just like ready for the day. I like a morning walk. I like to go on a walk. It clears the mind, so you're kind of ready for what the day is going to throw at you.
Hmm
But yeah, but that's that. Not apart from that, I'm a pretty boring bastard, really.
Do you drink coffee or have breakfast after you get up, or how does that work?
I'm more of a brunch guy. I don't have an appetite in the mornings. When I wake up, I'm not hungry at all. So I eat a bit later on. But I like some poached eggs on toast, or even a bit of cereal or something. But I was late to the coffee game, very, very late. I didn't drink hot drink. I never drank hot drinks until about a year or two ago.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
tea
So
whatsoever.
yeah, yeah. I
Wow.
never drink hot drinks. Yeah,
Huh.
it's just didn't do anything for me.
Mm.
And then uh, I was on a tour, and someone was like, "Oh, I think I've got a gateway for you," and then gave me a mocha because into the gateway into coffee. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sold. That's great." And now I'm kind of like moving up level by level, but I'm just so late to the party.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. I love
but I have
coffee.
arrived. I have
You
arrived
have
eventually.
arrived.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting, because obviously England being so cold, it's just so part of the culture to like have a cup of tea and just keep yourself warm. I mean, I love coffee. I really, really do. I think it's so good. Like for me, particular, it's just. I mean, I drink it up until a certain time of the day because I don't want to have an influence on the quality of my sleep later at night, because it takes like eight
of
to 12
course.
hours for the caffeine to
Yeah,
leave your organism. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that like it's a good thing, and the moment that you I start drinking, I don't know if you're doing it already, but like drinking like black like black, like a good cup of black coffee, man, it gives you a kick.
yeah. Do
You're
you know
gonna
what?
play
I've
the
yet.
drums even faster.
Oh man, totally. Yeah, I've yet to to delve into the just the dark black stuff. Just to,
Love it.
I think I'll get there eventually, but yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. I don't think. I mean, but I'm looking forward to feeling the rush because I've never really had that before. I can't because I've never had like an espresso or just a black. I've never had that before.
Hmm.
So, and you can see it on people like getting like ready to go. It's like Dave Lombardo loves his black coffee. He loves his proper coffee.
Hmm.
He would make fresh pots,
Fresh pots.
fresh pot
Very cool.
on the bungle to on the bus. Yeah, he loves that. Yeah, obviously he's Cuban,
Mm.
so he definitely loves his coffee.
Yeah, amazing. Funny story with Dave. At Download, which year was that the Empire played? Was it last year? Or
What was that when I saw you backstage?
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
think it was last year, wasn't it? Or the year
I think
before?
so. Well, I think it might have been maybe. Oh mate,
Oh
it's
no, it was 2023. 2023. So the year
all right.
before last.
Okay.
It was really funny because I was there with Taipei Houston with Miles and Lane Ulrich,
Yeah, yeah.
and then backstage at one point, it was Dave. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but it was myself and a good friend of mine, Vinny. He's a guitarist, tall dude, long hair. And then oh, I think Dave said, "Oh, but then what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm here with Taipei Houston." Oh, you he thought I was my mate.
Oh,
Oh, you guys are amazing, and say hello to your dad. I have so many great stories with your dad, and he didn't even let me talk. And blah,
oh,
blah, and I'm like,
really?
okay, Lars is not my dad, but okay, I'll pass on the message.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We didn't get too far into the conversation. It's too late
Too
for me to
late for
tell
me
him
to
now that
say
it's not.
anything. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So much fun.
We've all been there. We've
But
all
he
been
was,
there.
so like, I mean, so nice. I've never,
Oh, he's
such
so
a
so
like.
nice,
I
man.
mean, the interact. It was a very small interaction, but I could tell that he was so down to earth and chill, and like his
It,
face was very calm and excited,
exactly,
and about
exactly,
music.
exactly. Yeah, no, he's so passionate about it and about music and just and also just having a good time. He's such a joy to be around. Always got a smile on his face. Always cracking jokes and like he's got such an infectious laugh. When he starts laughing, it just brightens your day up. It's just
Wow,
it's
you
yeah,
gotta have those people around.
wonderful, wonderful man.
Joe, do you have like nowadays, like, are there any particular bands, new bands that you're listening to? Anyone that you like, that you really like see it? I mean, making it in a way on the next like 3 to 5 years. Is there anyone on your radar that you're like, wow, those guys are?
Um, That's a good question, actually. My finger has not been on the pulse of the music scene for quite some time. I'm not very good at keeping up with what's like going on. But let me have a think. Um, uh,
Hmm, it could be anything, or even like
what have I been listening to? I tend to. Do you know what, mate? It's. I tend to just go back and just listen to. I don't listen to very much new stuff.
and I guess you got so many projects as well, so you kind of keep listening to the artists that you're working with as well, right?
Yeah,
And to
yeah,
their
constantly. I mean,
ideas.
that's the thing as well. It's like sometimes I like just a bit of silence because I've just been learning songs all day, and I don't want to just go and listen to, and it's because you're not in the right frame of mind for it.
Hmm.
You're just
Hmm.
like, oh, I've been learning songs all day. I won't even, whatever this is, even if it's good, I won't enjoy it because I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
want a bit of peace and quiet.
Do you have a
Um,
drum kit at home now? Like a
no,
no? So when you
no,
need to practice, where'd you go to practice?
Well, there's a studio I use that's up in Essex that I will go and do bits and pieces if I need to go and like just let it out or like
Right.
play along to something or do some drum videos.
Hmm.
There's a kit there I have there that I use. So it's but you know the thing is that I've done a lot of recording so far this year, but not so much touring so far. But last year and the year before that, I was away so much that I was playing all the time anyway. So whenever I was home, I just wanted to chill. I didn't really want to play drums.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like what got me playing drums was like listening to music and playing it because it that was probably good for my like tempo and things like my inner tempo as well because when you've got your headphones on and you're playing, it's like you're playing in the band.
Hmm.
That's what it felt like to me when I was starting out. I felt like, oh, I'm playing in the band here because I can hear everything else and I'm playing along to it.
Mm.
So when I started doing drum videos, I just did it just because I wanted to just play some of my favorite songs and enjoy it. It's fun to play along to music. I really enjoy that. And
It's
I
fun
didn't
to
use it
watch.
as a. I didn't think it was a social media tool or anything like that to start with at all. I just did it because of just for me,
Hmm. Hmm.
just for a laugh, And then it started. Some of my videos got some like crazy views, like a million views or something, and I'm like, wow,
Wow.
this is how has this happened? Like this is
That's
mad.
cool.
Um, and then I was like, oh, okay, so this I can actually use this as a way to get work, which it has been the case.
Hmm.
But I didn't. That wasn't the plan to start with at all. I was just like, oh, I just want to go and play some of my. I set my phone up. I can do that, and then just make it on iMovie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll just do it. And yeah, it's just for fun because
Amazing.
like I hadn't played. Like I said, I'd spent 3 years playing with Inheaven, like that stuff, and I didn't get to play any that the songs I used to love playing. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go back and do that for a bit, just for me, for my own.
And you've got good memory, right? Because I was talking to you yesterday about songs that you know, and you're like, dude, I can play all of the songs that you just mentioned, and you so those things are basically they get very much on. You don't really have to kind of like keep. Don't know if the word would be reviewing, but like there's certain songs that you probably played so much or heard so much that they're just drilled in
It,
your brain. They just come
it,
on auto.
it, exactly, yeah, just totally ingrained. I find I feel like the analogy I use is like my brain is like a hard drive, and I'll like delete bits of common sense and like everyday like brain capacity in order for me to just go to the shops and remember what I need to get for dinner. Delete that and replace it with some drum beats and some songs because that's more important. That's what it's like. That's what I
That's
think it's
very
like.
cool. I mean, on that topic, that's very interesting what you said. Do you practice any kind of meditation? Are you someone that like reads or you're interested in spirituality or the mind? And is that does that have any like role in your life these days?
Not per se. I'm very fascinated by the whole spirituality and like meditation and like yoga and things like that. I'm fascinated by it. I haven't tried it myself yet, but I've always found it difficult to take in. See, I can audiobooks and stuff like that and podcasts. I can take in, but reading a book, like reading the words on the page, it doesn't. It just doesn't penetrate as much as hearing someone speak or watching a movie or something. I can't. I don't know why that is. I think my brain is constantly just. Maybe it's just like the filing cabinet. It's got all those drum beats in, and it's kind of like buffering just to make sure that you still know everything, and it's flickering about that I can't focus on. I've tried my hardest, even like books on autobiographies of my heroes, where I'm going to be really interested in everything they've got to say. I read a page, and I'm like, no, I have no idea what they just said. I have to read it again. It takes me like, oh, like at this rate, it's going to take me like 6 years to finish a book. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's an ADHD thing. I don't know. I
Well,
have no idea.
good
But
thing that we have audiobooks nowadays, right? So you can actually
yeah,
just listen to them. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I love podcasts. I mean, podcasts
Oh
for me,
yeah.
they are like, wow. The way that
Yeah,
we consume information, it has changed so much and so dramatically. And
yeah,
you can really like learn about so many different things and different topics just by listening to podcasts, really, you know. And
absolutely.
whereas before you would have like a pair of headphones or earphones and be constantly listening to music, nothing wrong with that.
Mm,
But nowadays, I mean, sometimes, I mean, I just realize myself, like sometimes I'm listening to, I don't know, this playlist forever, you know, and it's like, how many hours have I spent listening to? May I just perhaps try and listen to something different that might add to my intellect somehow instead of just listening,
100%.
you know? And I think podcasts do serve and fill that page really, really well. You know, they're amazing stuff. I mean, when I first started listening to them, I was like, wow, this is a
Yeah,
crazy format. And it's just taking off more and more. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have been doing it, like the pioneers, as on any other kind of industry or anything really in life, you know, like Joe Rogan and Tim Ferriss. Those guys, they've been doing it forever, and those are the guys that literally rode the first wave.
yeah,
But this is just gonna keep on growing. It's just like, you know, a free
totally.
flow conversation. It's not like this conversation. This is not like an interview. You know what I mean? It's like we're having a
No,
chat. You know what I mean? It's
no,
great.
totally. It's just all it's all. I love that. It's just natural speech and conversation and discussion and
Yeah.
debate. It's just like, but you can. What I love about podcasts is just they can be for any time of the day. It can be if you want to chill out and relax, they can soothe you and calm you down. If you want to really learn about something, you can really get stuck into it. Or if you're just got one on while you're cooking dinner, or you know what I mean. There's so much for it, and no, I think they're great.
You mentioned going to the shop to grab stuff for dinner and stuff, and now you mentioned dinner again. Do you cook for yourself? Like,
I'm not a great cook, mate. I wish I was, but I'm really not. My mum, bless her, she was an awful, awful cook. So I grew up with no knowledge on how to cook food at all. My dad's a really good cook, but obviously I didn't spend much time with him growing up. So, um, but my mum's just always had guys who were really good cooks, but it didn't really go on to me. So I let's just put it this way. I think I order too much food. That's, I use the apps way too much,
oh yeah.
and the food apps, not the apps everyone
Right.
else is talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
You know,
I
but
mean, but you're very slim. You're always like, you have always been slim, and like you never like really changed throughout the years. And I guess you must be doing something right in terms of
well,
like how you keep, you know, maintain
I mean,
yourself. Because a lot of people that basically get takeaways and deliveries. It tends to be more on the junk side of things, isn't it? Like pizza
yeah,
and burgers and high caloric foods with
yeah.
not a lot of nutrition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, obviously, you know, living in London, the 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 selection is a lot better. You know, you can. It's obviously not the healthiest you can have, but there are healthier options to be able to. It's not like you order a McDonald's and things like
Mm.
that. You know, but um, but yeah, I suppose I mean like I'm always an active guy. I think that helps. I'm always out and about doing stuff, and I think yeah, maybe I've just got a decent, a good. I mean, obviously Steve is slim, has always been slim, and like that gene in the family maybe has gone on to. I don't know, but also yeah, drumming. You know, it's a cardio workout at the end of
Fuck
the
yeah,
day.
absolutely.
Uh,
Yeah.
I remember wearing my iWatch for a Hi-on Maiden gig once,
Mm.
and I burnt 1,600 calories
Wow.
in a gig.
What was the
Yeah,
how long was the gig?
it would have been 2.5 hours.
That's not
Uh,
bad. Wow, 1,600.
because I sweat a lot. I
Mm.
sweat so much when I play, and so I mean, yeah, if you think about it, I mean that's like it's going to the gym, isn't it? You know, so
Yeah,
it's I'm
totally.
not like I've got no like muscle on me at all, but that's probably what keeps me slimmer because I'm just constantly burning
Yeah, yeah,
what's going on. So
for sure.
so yeah, but that's probably what it is. If I was a guitarist, I might be really fat. Who knows?
Joe, what do you do to unwind? What's the perfect lazy day on your books?
Oh, mate, I love just binging like TV series one after the other. I don't know about you, but when there's a new series out and it's just one episode a week, I can't stand that. I have to watch it all in one go. I can't. it drives me mad. So
Yeah.
whenever something comes out, I'm like, no, I'm not interested until it's all there,
Same.
and then I just go bang, 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 because I like to be engrossed and I like to just know what's going to happen next.
For sure.
I hate being left in the lurch like that. It's so yeah, I'm a man of simple pleasures. You know, I like when I'm just doing nothing. I like just chilling out and just yeah, a bit of TV or an audio book or like or even going on a walk. Like where I live is there's plenty of parks and stuff, and it's especially hopefully fingers crossed the weather's starting to take a turn for the better.
Jeez, please, it's
Um,
April nearly.
I know. I
Almost.
know. Hopefully, we'll have a better summer than last year. We were robbed last year.
Yeah.
Absolutely robbed.
Summer that never was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
um, Joe, thanks very much, man, for your time. I have
Thank you for having me, mate. I really appreciate it. Appreciate
one.
your kind words as well.
Oh, brother. I mean, you're a hardworking guy. You're very talented, and honestly, I just wish you all the absolute best. And
Uh,
wherever I go, and you're one of the people that like we were talking about. I mean, I only have great things to say, and would always vouch for your uh, drumming. Capacity and quality and expertise, and for your character as well, for being such a cool, chill person, and hardworking. That's you got
Thank
all
you, man.
you've got
That
you
means so
tick
much.
all the boxes.
That's so kind. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
One last question: if you could choose anyone, dead or alive, to have dinner with for
Oh,
like a couple of
wow.
hours, they would just sit down with this person and just gonna have a meal and have a drink and talk whatever you want, who would that person be?
Oh, that is such a good question, man. Oh, wow.
It's a good one,
Um,
but it's a tough one as
it
well,
is a
right?
tough one. It is a tough one. Um, Oh man, I would say John Bonham, but I know that he didn't really like to talk about drums. He just liked to talk about cars, and I don't know anything about cars, so I don't think that conversation would go very well. Um, I, I would, you know what? Who I'd love to have sat down and just who's got such a charismatic like presence, and just I feel like I would just have a great time with, and I would get a lot out of just having a conversation with Prince.
Wow. Okay.
I would love to have sat down and had a conversation and a night out with Prince. I feel like I would become a better person, and I would be much more enriched in every way. I feel like that guy was just an absolute genius. He's at everything, and I feel like all those interviews, he's got something so profound to say and so enlightening. I feel like he's my guy. I think yeah.
Dude, that was such a great answer. I loved it. Yeah, I mean, that would have I would have loved to hear about it.
Yeah, God, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Joe, brother,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
you, and
Thank you, mate.
I
Thank you so much.
hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Take care, brother.
Cheers, man.
Peace. Ciao.
Yeah.